Today's shiur is the Nishmat Tuvia ben Aharon Tzvi. The Shema should have it in Gan Eden. Amen. We're in chapter Taf Kuf Nun. It says Maran. Maran is the bold words we're reading. Chayavim l'hitanot b'tisha b'av. We must fast on the. You know where?
Yeah.
We must fast on the 9th of Av. U'v'yudayim b'Tammuz on the 17th of Tammuz, u'v'gimel b'Tishrei on the 3rd of Tishrei, u'v'asara b'Tevet and on the 10th of Tevet. Mipnei devarim hara'im she'eru bahem. Next page. Because of the bad things that happen on those days. Every one of these days have everything that happened on it. Let's see. Okay, let's see the Shulchan, the Mishabah on the bottom.
Vato gives a Rachiva
Where do you see that?
under Mishnah Bura.
Mishnah Bura, you're going to go where it says Aleph. There's an Aleph.
All of us are Chayavim l'hitanot.
Yes. Now you see in the left column, Mishnah Bura, Aleph.
Yeah, one.
Chayvim litanot. You have to fast. V'hu midivrei nevi'im. This is from the words of the prophets. I mean, they are the ones who instituted this fast. V'chtiv b'kirah, like it's written in the pasuk in Zechariah 8. Tzom ha'revi'i, the fast of the 4th. V'tzom ha'chamishi, and the fast of the 5th. V'tzom ha'shevi'i, v'tzom ha'asiri, and the 7th and the 8th. V'amu chazal, and the rabbis say, Tzom ha'revi'i, the 4th fast, the Shiva Asar b'Tammuz. Shu b'chodesh revi'i. Nimyan ha'chodashim. That means the 4th fast, because it's in the 4th month of the year, if you count the months. V'tzom ha'chamishi is Tisha B'Av, Shu b'chodesh ha'chamishi, and that's the 5th fast is Tisha B'Av. V'tzom ha'shevi'i is Tzom Gedalia. When do we do Tzom Gedalia?
Right after Rosh Hashanah.
Very good, after Rosh Hashanah. V'tzom ha'asiri is Asara b'Tevet, Shu b'chodesh ha'asiri. That's in the 10th month. V'chol elu hayamim, kol Yisrael nitanim behem mipnei hatzarot she'eru behem. We fast in these days because of the tzarot that happened in those days. What's the purpose of fasting? Not so you don't eat, but kedei la'orer halevavot, to awaken the hearts. Nefakach al darkei ha'teshuvah, to pay attention to the ways of teshuvah. V'yeh ze zikaron lema'aseinu hara'im u'ma'aseh avotenu shaya k'ma'aseinu ata. To remind ourselves of our improper actions and the improper actions of our parents that are similar to what we're doing right now. Ad shegaram lehem v'lanu otan hatzarot, until we realize that it's those actions that cause them and our actions that cause us these misfortunes. Shebezichron hadvarim ha'elu nashuv lehitiv. When we realize these things, we'll start doing good. K'mo shneimar v'yitvadu et avonam v'et avon avotam. Like the pasuk says, they will confess their averot and averot of their forefathers. V'lachen, and therefore chayav kol ish lasum elibo b'otan ha'yimim u'lefashpesh b'ma'asav v'lashuv b'hen. Every person has to pay attention in these days. Every person has to look at their actions and to do teshuvah. Ki en ha'ikar ta'anit. The fast is not the main part of the fast day. K'mo shekatuv b'anshei Ninveh, like it says by the people of Ninveh. Who's in the story of Ninveh?
Not Yeshua.
We read on Yom Kippur.
Yeah, when Jonah went.
Oh.
Yonah, very good, Yonah.
Oh, he was from the. That's right.
V'yar Hashem et ma'asehem, Hashem sees their actions. V'amu Chazal, and Chazal say, et sakam ve'et ta'anitam. Their sacks and their fast. Lo ne'emar, it doesn't say. Et ma'asehem, rather their actions. The pasuk doesn't say Hashem saw their fasting. Hashem saw their sackcloth. Hashem saw their actions. Ve'en ta'anit and achana l'teshuvah. The only reason we fast is to prepare ourselves to be able to do teshuvah. So when a person says, if I'm not fasting, it's like I'm not keeping the fast anyways. Are you a fool? The fast is only part of the things that's supposed to put you in the mood of paying attention to the reason of the fast. But if you're not fasting, the reason is, our rabbis are saying, if you're worried about dying on a fast day, chas v'shalom, then how are you going to properly think about the fast day? And therefore they're exempting you from a fast, but not exempting you from the actions that you have to do on that fast.
Mm.
But because people have made the fast day all about the not eating, they forget about what they're supposed to be doing. The fast is not important in its own.
I have two questions here. First of all, you were discussing the other day that are these like some of the few halachot that we bring down from the Nevi'im?
Yes.
This is like some of the few.
Yes.
Secondly, if a person goes to the Torah in the afternoon, like you have a Torah in the afternoon, isn't it true that at least what I've heard, is that if you broke your fast for whatever reason, for health reasons, that you can't get an aliyah.
It's not that how it works. It's not that you can't get an aliyah. Like if a person comes to visit from outside of Israel, and they're now here Pesach, and the 8th day of Pesach rolls around, and they're not observing Pesach anymore. So even if they're at synagogue, they don't get an aliyah. It's not that they can't get an aliyah. It's simply the Torah was not taken out for their purpose today.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with a fast day. If you're in a synagogue where the majority of people are not fasting, you might not have to take it at all. The Torah reading has to do with the fasting, and therefore, if a person is not fasting, it's simply that that's not something that's relevant to the person who's not fasting.
What about modified fasting?
Okay, we'd have to look at the poskim what
therapeutic
exactly is considered fasting and what is not. I don't know the answer to that question.
It's interesting.
לכן, therefore, אותם האנשים, those people, שכשהם מתנים הולכים בטיול ודברים בטלים, that when they're fasting, they go travel to Disneyland, or they sit around all day watching TV, תפסו הטפל והניחו העיקר. They've held on to the least important part of the fast day, and they've gotten rid of the most important part of the fasting, which is the focus on teshuvah, and refinement of character. ומכל מקום, אין לפתור את עצמו בתשובה בלבד, but nonetheless, you can't just say, okay, well in that case, I'm not going to fast, I'm just going to do teshuvah all day. כי הימים אלו הם מצוות עשה מדברי הנביאים לטענות בהם וכמו שכתבנו למעלה. Because these days are instituted by the prophets to fast on them, so it's not just you're going to walk up and say, I don't do this anymore. Now these fast days, there's an argument about these fasts. Let me just see. Let's read the next one. Watch.
Bet?
Let's skip Bet and go to the next chapter. Tav Kuf Nun. It's the next section.
Oh, on the top.
ההבדל שיש בין תשעה באב ליתר צומות. The difference between תשעה באב and the other fasts.
Okay.
There's 4 fasts, but one of them is different than the other 3. That's Tisha B'Av. Says Maran, Hakol chayavim להתענות 4 צומות הללו. Everyone must fast these 4 fasts. ואסור לפרוץ גדר, and it's forbidden for a person to decide, I don't want to fast. Not because of health reasons, because they don't want to fast, they don't believe in this holiday, or they don't believe that's the best way for them to remorse over the Bet HaMikdash. Haggah says the Rama, Mihu bat ubarot. What are ubarot? Ubar? Pregnant woman. Umenikot, or nursing woman. Shemitztarot harbed, or suffering a lot. El hitanot, they shouldn't fast. ואפילו אינן מצטערות, אינן מחויבות להתענות. And a pregnant woman or a nursing woman, even if she isn't really suffering a lot, she doesn't have to fast. אלא שנהגו להחמיר, but the custom was to be strict. ודווקא בג' צומות. This is, the leniency only applies to the 3 fasts. אבל בתשעה באב מחויבות להשם. בתשעה באב they really have to attempt to fast תשעה באב. Let's read the first sentence, because there's something about these halachot that I'm certain that nobody here knows. Or at least you don't know what everything is. The first halakha. Well, Maran says that everybody has to fast and you cannot break this fence. What is he talking about? Let's look at Mishnah Berurah, Aleph. You see in the middle of the page, there's an Aleph on the right? In the right-hand column of the Mishnah Berurah. Yeah, Vasur lifrotz geder. And it's forbidden to breach this fence. Rotzeh lomar, Maran means to say, Af al gav demaskinan bagmara. Even though the conclusion of the Gemara is Devizman de'en matzui gzerot goyim al Yisrael, that so long as the non-Jews are not persecuting the Jewish people, talui hadavar birtzon Yisrael. These fast days are dependent on the will of the Jewish people. What does that mean? Dehainu im ratzu rov Yisrael, that if the majority of the Jewish people wanted, v'hiskimu, and they agreed, Shelo lihitanot behagimel tzomot, not to fast on the 3 fast days aside from Tisha B'Av. Hareshut biyadan, it's permissible for the Jewish people to abolish these 3 fast days.
It says if there's no impending danger, which would be,
That's a different.
or is it different? It says right here.
There are a few ways how to read this Gemara, which is, what does it mean a time of peace?
When the Jews are not under the nations and they live in their own land.
Some say that. Some say only with the standing of the Beit HaMikdash. Some say inside of Israel, but not outside of Israel. There are different opinions to talk about this.
Could be under threat in Israel as well.
Threat doesn't mean threat. Threat means right now we're not under occupation of non-Jews that are decreeing decrees against us. In Soviet Russia, that was a decree against the Jewish people. San Diego, California, 2019, there's no decree out against us. If the majority of the Jewish people, if you want to get the Chachamim together and they wanted to get rid of these 3 fasts, they could do it.
Except in places where there are decrees against Jewish people.
Where? Where are the Jews living in decrees?
They're living in danger in certain places.
Yeah, but you're always living in danger. Where are the Jewish people today being persecuted in the streets? Where?
France.
Okay, France. But really, that's not
It's
a
not
decree.
a government decree.
It's not a decree against
It's
the
just
Jews.
anti-Semitism from certain groups in society.
So where?
What is majority of the Jewish people? International?
No, you don't want to set this question. What does that mean? What does that mean is you'll never know what it means. The Jews will never agree anyway, so it does make a difference where. But it probably means everybody in the world. Majority of Am Yisrael most likely refers to the majority of Am Yisrael who believes you have to fast on this day anyways. Yeah, which changes the story a little bit.
But that's, you're talking about observant Jews, and it's the majority or not.
Yeah.
Observant Jews are not the majority of the Jewish people.
Right.
If you start counting the non-observant Jews, then already they decided the fast doesn't apply.
Right.
So clearly we have to be talking about those who do observe the fast. These fasts are optional. The Jewish people choose to perpetuate these fast days.
Oh my goodness.
Which means it's easier to get a heter.
No?
No?
כתבו הפוסקים, the poskim write, ועכשיו כבר רצו וקיבלו עליהם כלל ישראל מדור דור. There's a classic answer. Because the Jewish people have already accepted this in a tradition from generation to generation, אסור לפעול together. You can't annul these fasts anymore.
Is that written true?
I'm sure that's what the average person believes. So that's just a religion of machinery. Rav Peretz told me that if Chachamim and Eretz Yisrael were to get together, he would be the first of them to abolish the fast. It's not relevant anymore, this fast. But until then, we fast. What do you do? A lot of what we see in the laws of the 3 weeks of Tisha B'Av is the unwillingness of the Jewish people to redeem themselves.
Oh my gosh.
There is some state of mind, I don't know what it is, that keeps a Jew wanting to be in Galut. How can, I mentioned this last year, Shabbat, how can we have a state of Israel like we have today? With a police force and an army like we have today, with all of the problems that government has and those police and soldiers have, that I'm not taking away from that. How can we have what we have, and for people to still scream at the podium, Galus, Galus, like we're 1,000 years ago, like we're 100 years ago in Yemen or Russia or Poland or Morocco? How can we still scream like we screamed in the old script?
A lot of Jews are still in a time warp.
They're still living in Galut.
Yeah.
The opportunity to leave Galut is there. And today, you even have a state of Israel. Pay your tickets to go to Israel. You don't even need a magic carpet anymore. The choice of the Jewish people to be in Eretz Yisrael and to be happy with the Kotel and not fight for the Temple Mount, that's a mentality of a Jew that wants to stay in Galut. That's our Temple Mount. At the very least, I'm not telling you to get rid of anything. I'm on camera now. Build a Beit Knesset. We can't pray there at least. Today it's even worse. You have rabbis who tell people it's forbidden to go pray in the Temple Mount. And Jews think I'm not allowed to go up there. Says who? Are there restrictions? Of course. Like there are restrictions what you can't do in the Beit HaKnesset, of course. Do you have to know halakha? Yeah, of course you have to know halakha. But yeah. Oh, there's one open over there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Of course. But the Jew that is choosing to be in Galut is the same Jew that chooses, let's keep the fast days the way they are. You know, there's all kinds of costumes people wear in the Jewish community. I wear a lot of them. I have a lot of different costumes for different holidays and different things. The insistence of certain groups that their costume is part of their religious observance is the insistence of a Jew to be part of Galut. Who cares if you're wearing a shtreimel or don't wear a shtreimel? You wear stockings with your black stockings, with your white stockings, with your leather shoes, with your rubber rain boots. It's August. It's 107 degrees outside. Why are you wearing a dead fox on your head? It's not a fox, it's a... what was it, an animal?
Sable.
It's a mink.
A mink, there you go.
Sable or a mink, maybe?
You know how many? 37 tails in a stripe.
Oh,
37, 36. How many animals that is?
too many.
What's your insistence in the middle of August to wear this? I told my Shabbat, I didn't pray with the jacket this Shabbat. I don't need a jacket. I want to roll up my sleeves and I want to have kavanah when I pray. So I asked my wife, like, what do you do in Borough Park? Should you ever walk to the synagogue in Borough Park? It's a freezer inside. Because everyone is dressing for the winter in Siberia. In the summer in New York. And because of that, you have to keep the Beit HaKnesset. There's sub-zero. Because if not, people are mamash, they're gonna die in the Beit HaKnesset. Think about it. I remember in Yerushalayim, you see, the middle of the summer. But you know those robes the Yerushalmis wear, the gold robes, like what I wear. Those robes are Sephardic robes. They were created in the Middle East, not in Europe. Those robes today are made 100% polyester.
Yeah, that makes
Oh.
The Chachamim who wore those robes didn't wear them for insulation. You know, that wasn't why they were wearing. They were wearing silk, real silk. It means in the middle of the summer they were free. They were dressed, but they were free. They didn't wear a shtreimel on top of that. They wore some kind of kerchief or some kippah or some casket or something. You can't live in the Middle East forever like you're living in Poland. You can't. It's in Miami. Are you wearing a jacket in Miami? Yeah, there's even the mosquitoes are sweating in Miami. But it's a mentality. Why? Because we so much need to hold on to that galut. We need it. We don't know what to do without it. To insist on this way of dress would be like an American Jew coming to Israel and saying, you know, in America, we only wear Ralph Lauren polo shirts. And my children, never, chas v'shalom, should they wear a Calvin Klein polo shirt. That's what it's like. It's a silly thing.
And a baseball cap.
And a baseball cap with New York Yankees on it.
Right.
That's a minhag. It's a minhag over. The Rebbe wore a New York Yankees hat. It was an expensive one, made out of fur. Can you imagine? This is exactly what everyone's insisting on today. My grandparents, when they came to Israel, yeah, they dressed a certain way in Yemen and in Morocco. They didn't care. They came to Israel, they dressed like everybody else was dressing. Not for one moment did somebody think, oh, let's all dress the way we dressed in Yemen. My grandfather didn't have pants in Yemen. I'm on the camera. He didn't have pants.
Many
Didn't
of them
dress
dress
like
like
that.
Eastern Europeans now.
That's right. So that's switched. You find in Baghdad and places you see little fedoras and I don't know if it's true. I read last night an article that a fedora is actually named after a woman. Her name was
Yeah.
Fedora.
Is that
She was the
right?
first one to wear.
In the 19th
To
century.
wear yeah.
It was a rabbi.
Rabbi Angel. I think you
Angel,
sent me the
yeah.
article. That's where I read. Same Facebook wave. So now all the men are wearing women's hats.
My women don't wear those hats.
That's a
Now.
very religious thing. Now they
Back
don't, of
then,
course.
19th century French women.
Really?
There's something to think about. The fact that we could get rid of the fast days, if we wanted to, and we choose not to want to. The fact that we sit at the Kotel and we choose not to go up to the Temple Mount, it's a choice.
What about that way? Choose to sit in America instead of making Aliyah.
I complain about that all the time.
I think it's a. I never could wrap my brain around it. Like how religious American Jews don't make it a priority number one.
Rabbi Shlomo Zalman Auerbach said that when Mashiach comes, the American Jews are all going to get on airplanes and fly to Yerushalayim and take pictures of the Beit Mikdash, and they're going to come back to New York. That's going to happen when Mashiach comes.
And then you told there's the people who try, like the rabbi in Lakewood.
Right. There are people who
The
try,
Mashiach
and
tour.
it
And then
doesn't work.
they have
for
to
them.
come back.
Okay, listen, I'll tell you the truth. I don't believe that Eretz Israel. You have to work hard for it. I don't think Eretz Israel accepts everybody into its midst. But the reason I'm here is because you're here. If you weren't here, I
No,
wouldn't be here.
no. In your
Yeah?
in your case, I understand.
No,
In
meaning
your case.
all of us may. It's a parnasah that's here. It's a
No.
fine. So then make a choice when you're retired to retire in Eretz Israel.
No, it's a list of excuses why you cannot make.
Yeah, of
a-
course.
But
No, but I think most people, it's not an excuse. I think that most religious Jews simply, they're not educated to understand that this is the key mitzvah of the Torah, is the land of Israel.
Mm.
Meaning
I could not imagine that our ancestors 200 years ago would have this opportunity
and not take it.
Yes.
That's right. You're right. We were educated. 200 years ago, people were dying from malaria in the Middle East. They could go, yes, they could get on a boat and they could travel and they could die of starvation and they could die of malaria and they could,
But they still tried.
and they still tried. But I mean, don't judge them that they had an opportunity and they didn't go. It wasn't that easy to get to
We
Israel.
always do that.
But today you're gonna it's empty. You're gonna 12 hours from now. You're gonna be in Israel on an air-conditioned plane with kosher food. There's nothing to complain. I believe what Rav Uziel said. Last week, 2 weeks ago. Rav Uziel said that part of making sure the Jews come from exile to Israel is to make sure that Israel is a type of place where a Jew that comes from America feels comfortable and safe.
No. You're not. You make your own home, right? If it's not perfect, you make it.
That's right. But we still have to deal with people. People are people. People are people. And
No. Of course, it's idealistic, but still, on the big picture, you have Jewish majority who rule, right? And you have strong army and so on. So it's not. So it's a safe place.
No, I don't mean
Oh,
safety
yeah,
in terms of Arabs and terrorism. I don't mean safety. I mean safety in terms of I'm used to an American way of life, to being able to go open up a
Of
business
course,
and not
of
having to
course.
bribe anybody and not having to deal with socialism that's still creeping by in the corner. And
That's what I'm talking about.
a real free market and the things that Israel still, freedom of speech, Israel still doesn't have proper things that are
So
important.
it's up to us to fix it.
That's correct.
Not wait for somebody else to.
I didn't say to wait for somebody else. I said part of of promoting Jews moving is to make sure they have what to move to. Listen, I lived in Israel. I lived in the old city in Israel. I plan to stay in the old city in Israel. I saw in front of my face what happens in Israel. It's not what you think it is. I'm not a spy. I'm not against Israel. We have to be aware there are real problems. There are things that could very easily make an American Jew put his tail between his legs and run back home. And those are problems that we choose also. The difference between the night of Av and the other fasts. Maran writes, "Hakol chayavim nit'anot arba tzomot hanalu." Everybody has to fast these 4 fasts. V'asur lifrot together, and it's forbidden to break the wall, to breach this. Everyone has to fast. The Rama mentions miu ubarot umenikot shemitztarot harbe, and litanot that pregnant women and nursing women who are suffering a lot, they don't have to fast. ואפילו אינן מצטערות, הן מחויבות להתענות, and even if they're not suffering, they're not obligated in fasting. אלא שנהגו להחמיר, but the custom is to be strict. ודווקא בגימל צומות, that's by the 3 fasts. אבל בתשעה באב מחויבות להשלים. תשעה באב has a different status, and this whole chapter is going to go between the differences of the 3 fasts and the 4th fast is Tisha B'Av. I want to repeat again what we said last night. Maran says you shouldn't breach this barrier. Everyone has to fast. Like, what's the fact? Just like everyone has to keep Shabbat, so what's so special? Rather, we read in the Mishnah Berurah that really there's an argument among the poskim whether you have to fast today. If the Jewish people, the majority of the Jewish people, let's say Chachamei Israel, because I can count Jewish people, would get together and get rid of the 4 fast days, we'd get rid of the 4 fast days. Last year I spoke to Al said he would be from the first Chachamim design, but you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. But these fasts only exist because Am Yisrael is insistent that they can't change it. It's almost ironic. It's like the reason we're not on the Temple Mount is because we don't go to the Temple Mount. If we did, we would be there. So what's hold us back? A glass barrier that we created our own. If anybody wants to argue, it's okay. That's already politics. In terms of Yahadut, we wanted to, we can. Just like there are people who didn't believe we can go back to the land of Israel, and Baruch Hashem we did. Those same people are still screaming, you're not allowed to be in Israel. It's nice that you think we're not allowed to be here, but we really are. We're not asking you. Am Yisrael did, and they did the same thing with this.
But Tisha B'Av times people would have to say. Tisha B'Av has to say. You can abolish that fast, just 3 fasts.
The 3 fasts. That's right. Tisha B'Av is different. A person who's sick, what is sick? They're not gonna die if they don't fast. They don't have to fast on these 3 fasts either. It's not a very heavy fast. It's not Yom Kippur here. I mentioned to you about bathing. So we're gonna get there soon. Bathing during the 3 weeks. There's a halakha in Yom Kippur. If you are now traveling in, I said, we go to Madeira. In Madeira it's 107 degrees. It's Yom Kippur. It's a biblical fast day. And you're sweating from head to toe. You're allowed to go shower on Yom Kippur. Even though you can't even wash your hands until your knuckles. If you sweat your whole body, if you get dirty and you're driving in the street and a car sprays mud on you, you can wash your whole body in water on Yom Kippur. How could the 9 days be any worse than Yom Kippur? People come 3 or 4 days, they smell like they don't shower. Why not? I told you that the halakha of not showering exists in a place where people shower once every 2 months. Once every 3 weeks. Why do you have to choose now? Why after the 9 days you have to shower? Some people here, I'm sure everyone, I don't want to ask everybody how much you shower. Don't shower. But I'm sure we'd ask, hopefully it'll be once a day, once every other day, twice a day. So then for you, showering is something that's a necessity of your life. You can't go that long without showering. How many halachot do you have in the Gemara? Hey, why are you doing this? I'm a finicky person. I can't do. What do you mean you can't do halakha because you're finicky? Yeah, there are certain parts of halakha. You qualify in terms of showering. That's istanis. Maran writes, Tzomot halalu chutz mitisha b'av mutarim b'rchitza. These fast days, aside from Tisha B'Av, are permissible for washing, bathing, v'sicha, and smearing cream, nilat sandal, and wearing shoes, v'tashmish amita, on the next page, and marital relationships. Ve'en tzarich lafsik behem b'od yom, and you don't have to stop them in the daytime, unlike Tisha B'Av, which we have laws of the eve of Tisha B'Av. Already before the fast starts, there's certain things we can't do. Meaning, if you want to take a shower on Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, go for it. If you want to wear shoes, you're allowed to. You want to wear deodorant, it's mutar. There seem to be some Acharonim who don't like that, and they restrict about bathing on there's a halakha in the laws of Tisha B'Av that we're mourners. So when you see people, you shouldn't greet them. You shouldn't say Shalom Lechem. Our parents always said, why are people so strict about this halakha? From all the halakha they chose. They're strict not to say something the whole year, they don't say hello to people. Why, of all the chumot you could choose, this one. Of all the things you could choose to be strict about, why is not showering something that people are strict about?
You're talking about Tisha B'Av now?
No, I'm talking about
minor fasts.
Minor fast, yeah, on the 17th of Tammuz.
People don't say Shalom Aleichem on the minor fast?
No, everyone says. I'm saying, when I was in yeshiva, not in Israel, 2 days of Shabbat, the 3rd day of Yom Tov.
Benders.
The minhag of the yeshiva is not to shower. What kind of minhag is that? You have to understand. They don't shower. They don't use deodorant because they can't. They don't use soap because they can't. They don't brush their teeth because they can't. Maybe I'm a finicky person, but a 3rd day of a holiday with 1,000 people in a Beit HaMikdash, I used to sit outside. How do you pray? You can't do the halachot of where you can pray and where you can't pray. I'm not exaggerating. This is a chilul Hashem. Halakha didn't ask that from you. 3 days without using soap? And then you have to eat at somebody's house? They don't use gloves either. And I tell you now, it's emet.
I've had those experiences. Especially
Ko-
in Brooklyn.
כל 4 צומות הללו, אם חלו להיות בשבת, נדחים לאחר השבת. Any one of these tests, including the Shabbat. If it falls down on Shabbat, it's moved to Sunday. Except for, which fast do we observe on Shabbat?
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippurim. Why?
Because
It's Shabbat.
Shabbat. Torah says Shabbat Shabbaton. It's a Shabbat of Shabbatot, which means it's the only thing that can push off a Shabbat. When Yom Kippur falls down on Shabbat, I always have extra suffering from that. I feel like I missed the Shabbat. It's like you go 1 week and then you have 2 weeks without a Shabbat. But at the end of the day, Yom Kippurim is a Shabbat Shabbaton. That pushes away Shabbat. especially by Sfaradim. By Ashkenazim, there's some things they skip when it falls on Shabbat. Things that are too sad, or things that are too mournful, things that are too much sin, too much. But Sfaradim is a regular Yom Kippurim. Says the Rambam, ואם חלו בערב שבת, and they fall out on Friday, קוראים בשחרית מנחה ואיכה, there you read the Torah reading of the fast day, it's interesting. ואם יש חופה ביום התענית בערב שבת, נוהגים להתפלל מנחה ולקרוא ואיכה, ואחרי עושים, okay, it's not good, us, nobody's doing this today. ד' בשבת, קודם לצום, the Shabbat before the fast day, מכריז שליח ציבור הצום. The שליח ציבור announces the fast. חוץ מתשעה באב, וצום כיפור, וצום פורים. Except for the night of Av, the fast of Yom Kippur, and the fast of Purim. It seems to me that in our Kehillat we only announce two of the fast days, the 17th of Tammuz and the 10th of Tevet. That seems to be the minhag by the Sfaradim. וסימנה חכף עליו פיהו, ומנהג האשכנזים, says the Ramad, the minhag of the Ashkenazim, שלא להכריז שום אחד מהם, we don't announce any of them. I was looking on Shabbat, I had a book here, I remember which one I was looking at, which said why we only announce the 17th of Tammuz and the 10th of Tevet, because those are the famous ones, something like that, something interesting. I didn't understand it. So that's how we announce two. If you go to a synagogue today, every rabbi gives speeches, tells you it's going to be the fast day. So really, every community announces the fast, whether or not it's kind of like we don't announce the Rosh Chodesh for Tishrei, but we do because we tell everybody it's going to be Rosh Chodesh. So I don't really know what it means. We don't announce. It means in the tefillah when there's a special formula how you announce the month. Over there we don't announce it. Okay, let's look at Tav Kuf Nun Aleph, the next Siman. Din Shavua Shechal Tisha B'Av Yod B'Tucha, the week in which Tisha B'Av falls out. For those who are new, welcome B'Churim B'Im. We're doing tonight, we normally study other areas of Shulchan Aruch, but before the holidays we try to go B'Ki with as much Shulchan Aruch and Rama as we can before the holidays. Mishichnas Av, when Av enters, Mima'atin B'Simcha, we decrease our joy. Understand here what it means, decrease our joy.
You're still happy, just a little bit less.
Very good. Don't be too litvish.
No.
You decrease. It doesn't mean you're not happy. You don't have to go around sad all night. Simply, you're not as happy as you were. The Hasidim maybe will throw out there that by Av, by Adar, you increased your happiness. So now you just go back to normal.
I like it.
So you take half a class instead.
Uvar Israel de'itlei dina behad enoche. If a Jewish person has a din, has some kind of judgment with a non-Jew, lishtemit mineh deria mazaleh. He's quoting now in Aramaic, straight from the Gemara. When Maran quotes something verbatim, he's telling you, interpret this however you would interpret it there. I'm not here to tell you now, where else does he quote straight from the Gemara? By the laws of Purim. Maran quotes, a person has to get drunk on Purim. Until he doesn't know, you already know the rest. Over there, Maran, everything else he writes is a halakha. Here he quotes from the Gemara. Our understanding of this is whatever you would do with that Gemara, do here with the Shulchan Aruch. Maran is not ruling. If he was ruling, he would tell you. Here he's telling you, whatever you did there, and there's a lot of people that do there many things, that's what you should do here. So if you have a judgment with a non-Jewish person, says Maran, you should push it off to after this time period. Which time period? The 9 days. Some of the 9 days. Not the 3, the 9 days. Because it's the time of bad mazal. What does it mean, mazal? Bad mazal? I don't know what to tell you what mazal is. Bad things happen in bad times, and there seems to be like there's auspicious moments of happiness. There are also auspicious moments for not such great things. Look at the Mishnah Abba for a second, the bottom. Mima'atin b'simcha and Aleph. See? Ayim b'magen Avraham, look at Magen Avraham. דורצה לומר שאין שמחין בו כלל. כמו שכתוב בתוספות. He understands that you decrease your joy, meaning you cannot be happy at all. That's the Magen Avraham's reading. Lishtemit mineh, what does it mean to push off the judgment? Ad Rosh Chodesh Elul, until Rosh Chodesh Elul. But kol panim ad Chag Tisha B'Av, at least until after Tisha B'Av. Let's read. Rama says on the top, Milah shehi Rosh Chodesh at Tisha B'Av. If a Brit Milah falls out from Rosh Chodesh until Tisha B'Av, why is a Brit Milah happening? Man, you don't have control when it's not like a wedding. It's not something. It happens. Nohagim sheha mohel. The custom is that the mohel uval berit. Who's the bal berit?
The dad?
You would think, but look on the top of the next page. The avi haben and the father of the son. So who's the bal berit?
Sunday?
Very good. Mishabah says, "Haynu otosh tofes hatinok ad berkav b'shat hamilah." The one who's holding the baby during the brit milah. I want to see. Look at that in the Mishabah. Aval machnis v'amotzi hatinok. The one who brings in and out the baby. Shekorin kvater. You heard of kvater? That's one of my favorite words. And no bichlad zeh. He's not included. מקום מקום האישה המכנסת התינוק נוהגת ללבוש בגדי שבת, שזה עיקר מצוותה. The woman who brings in the baby, she wears Shabbat clothing because that's her mitzvah, to dress Shabbat clothing. And here you see the woman brought in the baby. Remember that in 10 years when they don't let women even be in the mitzvah. So who wears Shabbat clothing? The mohel, the sandak, and the father of the son. Lovshim bigdei Shabbat. They wear Shabbat clothing, even though it's during the 9 days, and even though really, according to the Ashkenazim, you cannot wear laundered clothing.
Can't wear what?
Laundered clothing, clean clothing during the 9 days. Sfaradim only have that restriction. We'll talk about it. The week of Tisha B'Av, which is here, we got exempt from. Avabalav hachi asul. But if not for that, you can't wear these clothes. Afilu b'Shabbat shel Chazon. Even the Shabbat of Chazon. Which Shabbat Chazon? When are we going to practically? When do we read it?
Just before Tisha.
It's going to be this Shabbat. Actually,
Next week.
Next week. It's the Shabbat before Tisha B'Av, which means it's the Shabbat of the 9 days. If we would keep Tisha B'Av on Shabbat, then this would have been the Shabbat of the 9 days. But it's not. On Shabbat Chazon and Machalifin Lidbosh B'Gdei Shabbat. You cannot switch out of your mourning clothes, O-U, M-O-U, mourning, into your nice Shabbat clothes. Kim ha-kutonet levad. Except for the kutonet. Kutonet, today you're not wearing good kutonet. But it's basically your underwear. It's whatever you wear on your body for that protects your clothing or yourself from the sweat. That clothing you can change for Shabbat. Put your finger there and look down in the Mishnah Berurah. En machalifin ve'afilu at-talit. You can't even put on a Shabbat talit. Kima kutonet levad. She'eno lovesh ela mipnei hazaz. The clothing you only wear for sweat. Umitam zeh mutar lachlif gam ha'puz mikaot. V'zeh mutar afilu shvash chabot shav'ab. Okay, there's some kind of clothing, underclothing. I don't know what it is. Uvekilat kodesh Vilna. And in the holy community of Vilna, nohagim al pi agra. They follow the custom of the Vilna Gaon, l'bosh b'gdei Shabbat, to wear Shabbat clothing. When I came to San Diego, I didn't realize how much the Vilna Gaon was despised by people here. Because you have a few clowns that they still say bad things about the Gaon of Vilna, because they're old wars they had with the Hasidim back in the day. If you could put aside for a moment whatever tragic things happened between the Hasidim and the Gaon, the Gaon of Vilna was not just a one in his generation, it was one in many generations. The person who, the more you read about him, I just the Shabbat I spent some stories of the Gaon of Vilna. Unbelievable. And his parents went, there was a student of Rav Kook, his name was Rabbi Yehuda Leib Fishman, Maimon, he had changed his last name. In Europe they also called themselves Maimon, interestingly enough. They had a Hebrew last name and a Yiddish last name. Rabbi Maimon was the founder of, he may have founded Musar Rav Kook, I don't know. But he was definitely part of the World Zionist Organization. He was one of the first Knesset members alive. He signed on the Declaration of Independence of the Ben-Gurion. He was like from the early Jews involved in the state of Israel. So enough, his sister, if I'm not mistaken, she started an anti-religious political party. Whereas he was the head of the religious political party, his sister was an opposite. Yehuda Fishman is very special to me. I don't know why the generation doesn't study his things, but I have an obsession. I just bought one of his books that it was out of print for 50 years, and I just got my hands on it for a few dollars. Believe it or not, nobody even knew what it was. So I got it. Baruch
It's
Hashem.
saying here that they didn't change they didn't wear clean underwear all week? Is that what, again, you put it on, take it off type of unclean?
Yeah, probably. You could read that there if you want. He writes about the Gaon of Vilna that when his parents never came to visit him. Not his father, not his mother. Because the Gaon of Vilna used to stand up for his parents. And his parents so appreciated his Limud Torah that they didn't bother him. But he, every single day of his life, he would go visit them. Because he knew they wouldn't come visit him. So he wanted the opportunity to mitzvah kibbud aveh. So he would go visit them. The Gaon of Vilna writes that he never in his life went into a cemetery. Like the Rambam. What's a Jew looking for with a bunch of dead bodies? He doesn't go to the cemetery. Never. He said except for once. Once he went to the cemetery. His mother wanted to go visit his father's grave, and she couldn't go, so she asked him to carry him, so he carried her, he went with her. And he said it's the only time he went to the cemetery. Aside from obviously a levaya, funerals, but just them go to a grave. So in Vilna, they have a custom to wear new clothing for Shabbat. V'yesh mishanim beged echad. Somewhere like one thing different than regular, so you know it's the 9 days. V'chen katav Rabbi Yaakov Emdin, b'shem aviv hagaon. Rabbi Yaakov Emdin writes the name of his father. Who was his father? Chacham Tzvi, very good. His father tzarich lilbosh b'gdei Shabbat, afilu b'Shabbat shechal b'Shabbat. You have to wear Shabbat clothing, even on a Shabbat where Tisha B'Av falls out, which is going to be like this year. So the Ramah is not aware of an Ashkenazi custom to wear Shabbat clothes during the 9 days.
Every day?
No, on Shabbat of the 9 days.
On the Shabbat.
He doesn't know. I mean, the custom in Ashkenaz is not to wear Shabbat clothing, not to wear Shabbat talit, not to change clothes from the whole week till Shabbat. Only in Vilna. In Vilna they have this minhag, and Rabbi Yaakov Emdin says his father also said. And look, all the Ashkenazim today, from what I know, they wear Shabbat clothes.
Clothes.
You can shower, get ready ready for Shabbat.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone became from Vilna. Even the Hasidim are from Vilna. Aval Posin, back in the Ramah, Al Posin parochet shel Shabbat, but they put on the tablecloth on the bimah from Shabbat. Whatever things you know in the Beit Knesset you decorate it for Shabbat. Maybe not here, but if you go to Beit Knesset in Israel, Shabbat they always put on white tablecloths. Everything changes for Shabbat. The Ashkenazim had a custom that on the Shabbat of the 9 days they didn't do that. Except here it says, by the table you do, unless Tisha B'Av falls out on Shabbat, in which case they don't do it. ומי שיש לו נישואין בשבת נחם הוא מותר לבוש בדי שבת בשבת של חזון. Okay, that's really someone's getting married afterwards, what he can do. Maran doesn't make any mention of this. And the custom in the Sephardic community is Shabbat is Shabbat. It's like that by mourners, it's like that by Tisha B'Av, Shabbat to Shabbat. Nothing messes with Shabbat, like the 9 days. Ashkenazim are going to start restrictions of the 9 days already on Rosh Chodesh. We wait until after Rosh Chodesh. Nothing messes with the holiness of holy days. But this seems to be a consistent difference between the Sephardic and Ashkenazi communities of how much does one mourn on Shabbat. You're not supposed to mourn on Shabbat, but clearly something that they believe overrides Shabbat. Man, מראש חודש עד התענית ומעטין במשא ומתן ובעניין של שמחה. From Rosh Chodesh until the fast, so the 9 days, we don't do as much business as we normally do. We try not to build buildings for pleasure. You want to add an extension to your living room, it's not the right time. כגון בית חתנות לבנו או בניין של ציור וקיור, you want to build a wedding hall for your son. Who builds a wedding hall for their son?
Very wealthy.
What are they talking about? Where do you live in the times of the Gemara? What does your house look like?
Little cottage.
Yeah, a little cottage. Obadiah grew up in the Talmud. And now you have to make a party for the whole village. What do?
Oh,
You build something, some kind of tent, some kind of structure. Hey, this is where we're going to make the party.
You go to the mountain and cut some trees and just build yourself.
Right, you make some schach. That's a bet chadnut. No one's building for you now a Hilton to rent out the basement for. That's not what they're doing here. Bet chadnut.
And then you cook in a clay oven outside and roast.
At the Orno.
When Obadiah gets married, he's going to invite us.
Uventi'ah shel simcha.
When we plan things of joy, כגון עבר נקי של מלאכים שנוטעים יצא להסתופף בצילו, there's all kinds of things that royalty plants so they can sit in the shade, או מיני הדס, מיני העולים, ואם היה קוטלון נוטה ליפול, if your wall was going to fall, אף על פי שהוא ששמחה מותר לבנות, even though it's a happy thing to fix your wall, you're allowed to because you don't want the wall to fall on you. You're not here to hurt, to incur damage, to suffer. You're just not trying to do things that are usually, you don't start remodeling your kitchen, Tisha B'Av.
What if you started before the 9 days? Can you finish it? You have to take a break.
Look at Mishnah Berurah. 12. Yud Bet. The bottom of the page. Ubibinyan shel simcha. You see that? It's 3 lines up in the bottom. Ubibinyan shel simcha. You see 12? Yud Bet? Yes. V'hu adin kol binyan shantzarich lo dirato. It's anything that you don't need in order to live it. V'rak shosek en la'arvacha ba'alma. So if you're doing it just to expand your border, that's not allowed. V'im sachar legoy kodem Rosh Chodesh b'kablanut. And if you paid a non-Jew before Rosh Chodesh, b'kablanut. What is kablanut? You contract him, as opposed to. Yeah, I mean you're not hiring him to work on the 9 days. You simply say, listen, I have a job. It needs to get done. You have 2 weeks. Take the money. When he chooses to work is up to him, and therefore, if you did that before Rosh Chodesh, mutar bakol, everything is allowed. V'afilu b'tisha b'av atzmo, even on Tisha b'av itself, he can come and build for you. Denochri ada'ata denafshe avit, because he's doing it for whatever schedule works for him. He's choosing to work on Tisha b'av because it's Sunday, and that's a good day for him to work because he wants to go on vacation Monday. Right? He used to be at a doctor on Tuesday. So the fact that he's working in your house on Tisha B'Av, you didn't hire him, hey, I need you on Tisha B'Av to work in my house. You hired him, I need a job done, when can you come? He tells you when he's going to come, fine. That's the difference between kablanut, when you contract a person, and when you employ a person for a specific time. Nonetheless, let's say you paid someone to paint your house. Same thing. I mean, anything that you paid the non-Jew before and you contracted with him. If you could maybe try to bribe him a little or add a little to his money if he doesn't come. Until after Tisha B'Av, you should be blessed. But a better Knesset, you could do whatever you want. It's not just a mitzvah, it's a mitzvah for the whole community. I believe here, we did things on Tisha B'Av, but a few times we renovated here during the 9 days. Oh, what do you mean? What's going to happen? Sometimes people ask me if they can do something during the 9 days. And I tell them, Mikar Adin, according to HaLachah you can, but you shouldn't do it. What do you mean you shouldn't do it? Why shouldn't they do it? If it's allowed according to HaLachah. I'll give you an example. If someone needs to get married during the 3 weeks, Halakha says you're allowed to get married 3 weeks. Ashkenazim have a custom not to get married during the 3 weeks. Most Sfaradim, by the way, their custom did not follow Maran, and they also didn't get married during the 3 weeks. But the halakha is that we do. So now a couple wants to get married. And they say, Rabbi, I want to do the wedding. Will you marry us in the 3 weeks? Of course. But I don't recommend you do that. Why? First off, let's say on a practical level, it's going to be me and them under the chuppah. Nobody else is coming. We're going to get guests from.
And what about celebration? Music?
Celebrate. It's a wedding.
Music. Hear no evil, see no evil.
It's not evil. There's no reason.
It's a wedding. It's a mitzvah deoraita to get married. It's
Okay,
not even a minhag to not.
That's why they don't allow weddings.
But what I tell them, I know what happens. Husbands and wives, they fight? They fight.
Get 'em
Yes?
out.
They fight.
Yeah.
It happens. I know, even to the best people, it happens. The way that people work, Rabbi Yosef Masas called it machalat hadimayon. People have disease of their imagination. Whenever they're going to fight, they're not going to blame it on themselves. They're going to blame it on, oh, we got married in the 3 weeks. That's why. It's like the same people, they fight, they have to go check their mezuzot. What did your mezuzot do wrong? You're fighting with your wife. It's not the mezuzah's problem, it's your problem. Maybe the mezuzah's not causing, and the mezuzah's just sitting there on the door. If it's not kosher, it's not kosher. It's not working for a mezuzah. If it's kosher, you get a mitzvah. If you're fighting with your wife, get a marriage therapist. Don't go to Sofer. What is Sofer going to help you? But look at the world. I hear. Oh, someone got sick. Did you go check your mezuzot? Did you go check out your health? That's what you should ask a person, not did you check your mezuzot. It's an unbelievable world that you live in. Nobody takes responsibility for anything. It's always something else's fault. So I know, I can tell someone they can build part of their house because it's necessary. But then when there's a flood or mold grows there, it's going to be because I let them build during the 9 days. So because of that, I said, don't do it. Because you're going to curse yourself. It's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're so afraid. I'm not telling you it's right what I'm telling them. I'm telling you I can't save a person from the disease inside their head. There are things that are absolutely mutar in halakha. They're permitted. People are afraid to do them. You should see how they shake when it comes to doing them. And they're right. If they do that, it could hurt them in ways that I don't understand because I don't understand what they're so scared of. So you have to know who you're dealing with, but that's not normal. The Rambam once was asked about this. That's right. For a sick person, you give a sick person medication. You tell them not to do these things. But if you're not sick, why are you taking medication? If you're not a sick person. I once was a Talmid Chacham. He did something I can't tell you what he did. He did something according to halakha was allowed, but all of you think it's forbidden. So he asked him, Harav, how could he do it? He said, because I'm a Talmid Chacham. Like that. Because I'm a Talmid Chacham. It's not an ego. I mean, I know there's not a problem. And therefore I'm not afraid that something's going to happen to me because I'm a Talmid Chacham. It's okay. Let's look back in Shulchan Aruch. ונושאים נשים, ונושאים סעודת אירוסין, and from ראש חודש till תשעה באב, we don't marry, we don't even make a meal of engagement, אבל לארס בלא סעודה מותר, but to get engaged without a meal, it's allowed. Who gets engaged without a meal? Almost everybody, no? They propose, they have dinner ready? No, you propose, and you have an engagement party a week later, what's the problem? ואפילו בתשעה באב עצמו מותר לארס. And even on תשעה באב itself, you can propose and get married. On תשעה באב, how do you get engaged on תשעה באב? Why? שלא יקדמנו אחר. This is an important halakha. So someone else doesn't grab her first.
Can we purposely do it on that day?
So?
This rabbi has You gotta get it before the 15th.
This is an important halakha. Sometimes I see people.
It's like the...
I once had a person I met at my parents' house for dinner before when I was still single. And this person was, there were two people, they were living here, living together, a man and a woman, for 16 years. So you guys married? No, not married. Why not? I'm not sure that we're ready for a committed relationship yet. I would love to make up the story. 16 years. So I told him, and I feel bad until this day that I told him. I said, guys, 16 years is a committed relationship. Like it or not, you're stuck. Get married. Then I went back to Israel. They got married. Not even a year later, they were divorced. Because really, he wasn't ready for a committed relationship. 16 years was okay. Suddenly had to start sharing. I don't know what they were sharing. Starbucks drinks or finances or whatever.
So,
that wasn't too much with
Did
him.
you feel guilty?
Not really. Bad a little bit. I don't think they got married just because of me. I'm not that powerful.
He should have been obligated.
But that's a big difference. That's a big difference. Now you have to do something you don't want to do anymore. So you have to make sure you're dating somebody. What are you waiting for? You know that it's the right one? You know that things are good, so what are you waiting for? You're waiting for this, you're waiting for that, you're waiting for the next thing. What happens if someone else takes her? What if someone else gets him? Sounds primitive, maybe.
Yeah,
The worst feeling in the world is to want somebody and then see another man walk away with him. See another woman walk away with him. If only he would have said something a minute sooner.
but what you were saying earlier, that every time they have an argument, they'll say, see, we shouldn't have
See,
gotten
because of that, we're going to engage then. Okay, right, I
There's so
can't
much
save them.
superstition in the Jewish world.
Says the Rama ונוהגים להחמיר, we are strict, שאין נושאים, it's a custom, שאין נושאים י"ז בתמוז ואילך עד 1 תשעה באב. We don't get married from the 17th of Tammuz until the 9th of Av. The Rama says it's forbidden? No, he says it's a minhag. It's a minhag.
It's minhag.
Mishnah Berurah says in Tet Vav 15, אין נושאים, we don't get married, היינו אפילו בלא סעודה. Even if you do a wedding without a meal, דבנשואים בלבד יקרא שמחה, because just the marriage itself is considered happy. ולהחזיר גרושתו מן הנישואים אפשר דשארי, and if you are marrying your divorcee, what is that? It's one of the 613 mitzvot. To marry the woman you divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Just like it's a mitzvah to divorce your wife. You know?
But doesn't it, the Torah says that?
One of the 630 mitzvot is to give a get. Obviously, you shouldn't go give your wife a get. Only if you need to give a get, it's a mitzvah to give a get. If you're able to work it out and come back together, it's a great mitzvah to marry the person who you divorced.
If she wasn't with somebody else.
If she wasn't with, that's right. Not necessarily with somebody else.
It's a negative.
No.
That's really, what does it mean to be with somebody else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he says it could be that it's okay in the 9 days to get married to the person who you were married to before. Somebody once wanted to suggest, like through a joke. because you already know what you're into. You know it's not happy, so there's no celebration really happening right now.
You see,
Of
it's a
course.
lot of work ahead.
I told him once, I don't know if it's real, I saw once, it seems to be authentic. In halakha, you always want to know, if you don't have something, what can you replace it with? Like in the Masechet Sukkah, if you don't have an etrog, can you replace it with a lemon? There, the Chachamim get into a real interesting conversation with, on one hand, the lemon is a placeholder, so you can remember that there are 4 species. On the other hand, incorrect education is also a problem. If you teach people that a lemon is okay, you could find that one day people will stop using etrogim. The rabbis have this conversation. So what happens when you are at your Seder table and you don't have mo'ol? So what do you point to? They have an old Haggadah from somewhere. It says, you should point to your wife. It's a real marol. This marol that I eat. Don't worry, I'm on camera. I know I'm not going to get in trouble. This Haggadah was printed later, and one of the footnotes, another Chacham wrote, Nira li, it appears to me, shelo ala zivugo yafeh. He wasn't in such a good marriage. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that first guy was not in a good marriage. Unfortunately, there's some people that they know already it's not good, but it's better than what I have on the side. It's better what we'll get back together. Sometimes there's not such simcha. Or for the very simple fact that sometimes people get married a second time, so you can make a celebration again. You're going to invite the parents again. You're going to invite the presents again. What are you going to do? Just get married. It's not that big of a deal, and therefore, says Mishnah Berurah, could be that you can get married in that regard, in that way. Shavua shechal bo Tisha B'Av, in the week in which Tisha B'Av falls out, asurim lesaper ulchabez. It's forbidden to get haircuts and to launder clothing. Even if you don't want to wear it now, you want to wait till after Tisha B'Av to wear those clothes. Even if you only have one robe to wear, asur, it's forbidden. And those that are laundered from before the 9 days, whether to wear new clothes or to set the bed with those sheets, even the cloths that cover your hands or the table, asur, it's forbidden to change them. This next sentence, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to explain to you this halakha in practical terms. Maran says, "V'chibutz shalanu mutar." Our way of laundering clothing is okay. Aval gihutz, but ironing clothing, shalanu asur. It's not allowed.
This is brightening up.
What's that?
Brightening up, passing a smooth stone over the garments to smooth them.
What is a
That's
smooth
only-
stone over the garments? That's
Sounds
old
like
school
iron.
iron.
That's
So
like
I say
hey,
brightening up.
Because it makes it look kind of
But or it could be that it's something of like polishing clothes. I do see that wording there.
hey,
Mishnah Berurah quotes the Bet Yosef, who says that laundering outside of Israel was lesser quality than inside of Israel. I don't think that this is those who hold chibus asur, chibus of even that you have today is not allowed. וכלי פשטן, אין בהם משום גיהוץ, והרי הם כבוסים שלנו, כיבוש שלנו מותר. They're trying to say there are 2 kinds of laundering. And Maran says our laundering is okay because outside of Israel the clothes don't come out clean. But I don't know what to say that.
Might be the opposite.
And Maran says therefore it's our custom that even our laundering we don't. Then hakel b'davar, on the top of the next page, and you can't be lenient in this matter. Kivan shnagu, because it's already a custom. The coach again, the Shaar the Medina Nam Yasur, because it could even be the halach that's prohibited. Shari Yesh Misha Kadav, the chibush shalanu karei leshabnei baveh. It could be that our laundry is considered problematic. And Maran concludes that our way of doing laundry today with water and soap is forbidden to do during the week of Tisha B'Av. This year, do we have a week of Tisha B'Av?
I think about clothes on Saturday and Shabbos. So in the whole week.
Is the week of Tisha B'Av?
Yeah.
We're going to see that in Halakha Dalet. Let's quickly do the Ramah. We're going to get to that. Ramah says, "V'anachnu nogim nachmir b'chol zeh v'chad Rosh Chodesh l'chat hanid." We have a custom, who's we? Ashkenazim, from Rosh Chodesh until the fast. So it's not the week of, but it's from Rosh Chodesh. Im lo l'tzorach mitzvah, unless it's for a mitzvah reason, kigon isha halovesh levanim, mutar dafuvez v'libosh levanim, u'latzia tachteh. If for taharat mishpacha reasons the woman is wearing white, she can wash her clothing. Aval b'tisha b'av atzmo, lo tilbash levanim. Okay. וכן לכבוד שבת, לובשים כלי פשטן ומוצאים לבנים כמו בשאר שבתות, ואסור לתת כלים לחובס את יהודי לכבס בראש חודש. מרן writes הלכה ד' ולאחר התענית מותר לספר ולכבס מיד. And right after the fast, you can immediately start laundering your clothing. You cut your hair. What do you mean right after the fast?
That night.
Yes,
Three steps. Nightfall.
So that's different than waiting till the middle of the 10th.
Look at the Mishnah Berurah on the bottom. Lamed Zayin. Miyad, immediately. It's the last Mishnah Berurah on the page. Vayen lekaman, look later, Siman Taf Kuf Nun Chet. B'Chaonim, the Chaonim mention. The Mitzad Minhaga, no, not according to Halakha, but according to the Minhag, יש להיזהר בזה ביום עשירי עד חצות היום. You have to wait until midday of the 10th day. So Maran says miyad. Shabbat calls the Chaonim until the midday. Now, really, the reason for this is, what's the reason people wait till the 10th?
The ashes.
Still burning.
The Beit HaMikdash is still burning. What about this year?
It's not.
It's not.
Why this year we pushed Tisha B'Av off? So is it about waiting another day after Tisha B'Av? Or is it about waiting until the 10th day? You could do whatever you want. I don't have a... I don't get involved. One of those things I don't know. I'll tell you what the right thing is.
Does that also include for those who eat meat, eating meat till the
Yeah, because it's right. What is it? What happens there? V'im chal Tisha B'Av b'Yom Rishon or b'Shabbat. And if Tisha B'Av falls out either on Sunday or it falls out on Shabbat. So if Tisha B'Av were to fall out on Sunday, would we have a week in which Tisha B'Av falls out? No, according to everybody. For the Ashkenazim, it doesn't make a difference because there are no halachot of the week of, only of the 9 days. For Sfaradim, if Tisha B'Av falls out on Sunday, it's a big deal because now we could do all kinds of things the week of. There is no week of. Now, what happens if Tisha B'Av falls out on Saturday? Like Marlene said, technically that whole week is the week of Tisha B'Av, and Tisha B'Av is only moved till Sunday, but that's not its natural place, like we're doing this year. So Maran says, what if Tisha B'Av falls out on Sunday, or it wasn't Shabbat and it was moved to Sunday? V'nidche la'achar Shabbat. It has been pushed off until after Shabbat. Mutar b'shtei Shabbatot ben shekodem ten ben shachrav. It's allowed. There's no week of Tisha B'Av. We got off the hook.
So, what does that mean, practically?
Practically, that means that according to Sfaradim, all the restrictions of the week of Tisha B'Av, so getting haircuts, laundering clothing, we will wash our clothing and get haircuts up until next Shabbat. So we don't even really have, the only restriction is meat and wine and weddings.
What did you say?
Yeah, you got it.
Regarding, let's say haircuts, let's stick on haircuts.
Yeah.
If Tisha B'Av were to fall out next Thursday, then already from this Motzei Shabbat, I would not be allowed to get a haircut. But because Tisha B'Av is falling out next week Sunday, or even on Shabbat, but it's moved till Sunday, there is no week before Tisha B'Av, and therefore all the halachot that apply to the week of Tisha B'Av don't apply at all.
But it is the week before Tisha B'Av.
I know, that's what Maran's coming to tell us.
But that's for the
For Sfaradim. For Ashkenazim, there's really not a practical
Yeah.
application that I know of. Maybe if you think of one, maybe, but I don't know of one.
Well, what's his rationale for saying that there's no week before Tisha B'Av? Because there's the whole week before Tisha B'Av. It's on Saturday, on Shabbat. How can you make that assertion that there's no...
Because there isn't, because the fast practically is on Sunday. If we're
It's on
going to treat the
Sunday.
Sunday fast like a Sunday, so it's a Sunday fast, it's not a Shabbat fast. Tisha B'Av was moved to Sunday. Here I wonder if you can dance on both fences. Can you treat the week before Tisha B'Av when it falls out on Saturday and move to Sunday like there's no week of Tisha B'Av and therefore you get a haircut all the way until then? In that case, can you also treat the night after Tisha B'Av like it's the 10th of Av
Mm-hmm.
because you pushed it off until Sunday? But you also have to then observe Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Are those two opinions depend on each other? It's an interesting thing to think about. Maybe not. Maybe not. They're two different ideas.
Well, one is a Zman, a time when the Beit HaMikdash was burning. And if it's a day later, it was not burning.
The other day has to do, the other idea has to do with the week of Tisha B'Av. So, V'yesh mishomer, there's somebody who says, it's a tool in the name of the smag and the smak. Sh'nagu le'asor kol shavua shavanav chutz mim chamishi v'yom shishi. The custom is to be strict the whole week except for Thursday and Friday. I don't know anybody who has this man. I'm not sure who does it. Says Rama, v'nohagim, and the Ashkenazi custom is lachmir, to be strict. מתחילת ראש חודש לעניין כיבוס, from the beginning of ראש חודש regarding laundry, אבל תספורת נוהגים להחמיר מי"ז בתמוז. But regarding haircuts, the Ashkenazim don't get haircuts already from the 17th of Tammuz. I had someone call me up from Brooklyn recently. He forgot to get a haircut before the 3 weeks. Forgot. Was traveling. Okay, whatever happened. He wants to know if he can get a haircut during the 3 weeks before the 9 days. Life is fun. I told him, what do you need a haircut for? He travels for business. It's important for him to look professional.
You can ask him.
I said, mitzad hadin, according to halakha, what halakha do you violate by getting a haircut in the 3 weeks? It's a minhag. It's a minhag of the Ashkenazim who are aware that it's a minhag. I mean, no Ashkenazi rabbi thinks it's a prohibition. At least not one who knows halakha. In this case, it's okay. At 9 days, a difference. A week after Shabbat, a different story. But the 3 weeks. I said, but I can't save you from your community. And from the halakha, I can save you. But from your community, when you show up in 3 weeks with a trimmed beard and a nice haircut and this, you're not very dying. They might murder you. they could kill you.
Well,
you know, people are very passionate about their minhagim. What would happen if I would bring my bowl of rice to an Ashkenazi lunch on Pesach? Lynch. Nothing. Lynch. Not a tamicha. I'm not talking about tamicha. Tamicha, they know halakha. I'm talking about people, regular people. They would have. Our tablecloth.
Instead of lunching,
Am I wrong?
It depends on who you pick as a representative of the Ashkenazi community.
That's right. It really depends who you pick. I'll tell you, we once had, not once, last year, someone called me. He took his kid to Beit Knesset, an Israeli. Like, he doesn't know that in America you have different. He was visiting a certain place in town, and he went to the local synagogue on Pesach, and he brought with him bamba from Israel. Bamba. It says kosher for Pesach. He comes to the Beit Knesset, his little 3-year-old kid opens up the bag of bamba. You can make a movie that the whole place turns, and the rabbi lost it. In the shul! On Pesach! Bamba! Threw them out of the bed.
Well,
Bamba, but not for you, sir.
yeah.
A little corn puffs covered in peanuts. Like bamba, that's what. It's a little snack for kids.
I mean, he could say it's sugar. You shouldn't eat it.
No, but here he lost like how in the Beit Knesset you can eat chametz on Pesach?
Like Cheetos, but
So imagine you're gonna go to your Beit Knesset, you're gonna come clean shaven. I had a lady once called me saying kaddish for her father, her only daughter. I said, mitzad halakha, I can help you. But if you're going to go to a certain synagogue and say Kaddish, I know what's going to happen to you. So how can I tell you to do something when I know it's going to harm you more than it will help you? That's also part of the, I'm sorry that you live in such a place, I am, but you do, that's where you are. Something you have to, it goes 2 ways. Something you also have to know not to do certain things. Nothing, you go to any Ashkenazi synagogue. Now, it could be in Israel, already Baruch Hashem, these things are different. But in America's pretty Ashkenazi. You're going to go to a synagogue with the Ashkenazi people there only know Ashkenazi things. Always there's this Sephardic guy who comes to say Kaddish, and his Kaddish is 17 pages longer than anyone else's Kaddish.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, in Israel, you should know, people, they know to stop, they know to wait. You say, they wait for you. But in America, the Chazan loses his place, the rabbi loses his place, the community, you're doing Oseh Shalom, they're already saying Alim Shabbat. You don't have to pray in this Beit Knesset, but when you pray there, at the very least, try not to confuse everybody.
Yeah.
That's you want to say Kaddish your way, so either make your own minyan or talk to the rabbi first. I don't know, there's a way to do it. I don't think it's forbidden. I'm not saying halakha. It's not forbidden to say Sephardic Ashkenazi minyan, but it's going to confuse a lot of people. It's going to throw the tefillah off, and why do you have to be the reason for it? You want to eat your bamba, so I'm not going to bring my rice to my Ashkenazi friend's house on Pesach, because I know I don't need to eat rice, it's not a mitzvah to eat rice, and definitely it's going to freak out his wife. So I leave it. You have to know in life where you are, not just what halakha says. Where are you?
Question.
Yeah.
What about children's clothing? Let's say you have a family with like 10 little kids. And
Let's say.
well,
10 little
not far
kids.
from
Yeah, let's say that.
Wait, how little?
I said 10
They were all born at the same time?
Well, 10, 9, 8. I've been in houses where it goes like from 11 to 1 with a 1 year gap.
Yeah.
10, 11 kids. I got
11 is
a
not
rabbi's house, and what happens, you're waiting till the 10th of Av, and you have like that much laundry to do.
Yeah.
The truth is, someone asked me this question last year. It's relevant in my house also, so my wife will remember what I told her last year. I don't. But I recall some people said, comparing. So I don't have this problem this year, because this year I don't have. Last year I didn't have it. But if somebody were to ask me, let's say an Ashkenazi person, I believe I saw somebody write that the children of clothing are like the underwear that the Rama was talking about, and they're things that are not. They're not clothes to be nice. They're functional clothing to keep children clean. And it could be that I don't have a source to tell you, so I don't want to throw it out there. But if you like, for the next show, I come with the source. Let's try to do one last halakha before we. Okay, let's do Maran's. Tet, let's go to Tet. Halakha Tet on the next page. Yesh nohagim. What does Maran mean when he starts with the words Yesh nohagim? There's some who.
He doesn't hold that way.
The rosh.
Yesh nohagim shel lechol basar v'shlo lishtot yain b'Shabbat zot. There are those who have a custom not to eat meat and not to drink wine on this Shabbat.
Mm-hmm. Some.
The question the poskim have: what happens if you're sitting in the meal, you're having sudah shahid and it's meat and it's late, but the community already prayed Arvit. You're going to pray later. According to Mishnah Berurah, he brings an opinion: you have to stop your meal. You can't eat meat anymore once they started. V'yesh mosifin merosh chodesh ad hatanit. I think how we read it incorrectly. The minhag is not to eat meat or wine during this week of Tisha B'Av. The second minhag is from Rosh Chodesh until the fast day. So not the week of, but the fast day. V'yesh mosifin, and there are those who add Yud Zayin b'Tammuz that they don't eat meat from the 17th of Tammuz.
Which communities?
Xavier, the strictest guy in the house.
I know, but it's
You
not,
go to
not
the
because
Chumrah.
of this.
Oh, which community? No, I don't know any community. Did anyone here know a community that from the 17th of Tammuz doesn't eat meat?
I've never heard of
I
it.
ask every year and I don't.
Not from the 17th of Tammuz.
Last year,
but,
Marlene.
Yeah.
No.
This is silent.
I know people keep it from Tishrei to the beginning of.
But that's not because of this.
I know.
Now, who does Maran rule like?
It's just right.
Normally, when you have a Yesh Omrim and a Yesh Omrim and a Yesh Omrim, you follow the last one. In which case, we're in trouble. Because Maran holds from the 17th of Tammuz according to that.
What?
I'm surprised.
But it doesn't seem to be this way. Maran doesn't seem to be quoting three. He's quoting three minhagim, meaning, and he's doing it in terms of time. He's not doing it in terms of order of importance of opinion. He's telling you there are those who do the week of, there are those who do the 9 days, there are those who do the 3 weeks. That's what he tells you. Those are the minhagim. Seems to be that most of the Jewish community that I'm familiar with, the 9 days. The Yemenites, Bichlam, they follow Ikar Avim. Like the Rambam, only the meal before Tisha B'Av, they don't eat meat. The rest of the 9 days, they eat meat. The Rambam, that's what he means.
Is that
This is a newer minhag.
Are you talking about the meal on the floor or?
Yeah. And then you have the minhag of the week of Tisha B'Av. I have a friend, he's the son of the chief rabbi of Turkey. And he told me that their minhag is the week of Tisha B'Av. How do I know? Because I once flew to Israel for a rabbinical conference during the 9 days. And you come to Israel to eat food. Finally, you can. And then I get there, and you can't eat anything. So he's busy eating shawarma, and then in front of all of us, we're eating vegetables. I felt the destruction of the Beit Hamikdash. The truth is, and you could follow my minhag. I told him I would do it in a heartbeat. I'm Yemenite. I would also eat until Tisha B'Av. I said, but I can't. In the old city, in Yerushalayim, the Beit Hamikdash is destroyed. I can't do it. I have a guilty. I have the imagination also. So next week, what we're going to do is we're going to take apart the minhagim of eating meat and not eating meat. What's included in the eating of meat? So you know the halakha that we have here in Kehillat HaShamayim according to Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says that if you cook a tafshil shel basar, what is tafshil shel basar? Something cooked with meat, like what?
Beef stew.
Cholent. Let's not say cholent because cholent is smushy. Definitely like a real chamin. You have potatoes and carrot and barley, whatever you have there, and meat. Can you eat the potatoes from that chamin during the 9 days? So really, you should know there's a halakha that's stricter than that. Meaning, in the laws of kashrut, Maran writes, what happens if you eat the meat from the chamin? How long do you have to wait afterwards?
6 hours.
Maran writes 6 hours. Where do you get 6 hours from? It's a conversation we've had here before. Rama says, there are 3 minhagim in Ashkenaz. The first minhag of all of Chachamei Ashkenaz, the German and French rabbis, Baalei Tosafot, how long do they wait after meat before they had dairy?
German?
The Chachamei.
Yeah, 3 hours.
1 hour.
German is 3.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway,
3 weeks.
Rama writes, they wash their mouth and they have dairy. The Chachamim of Ashkenaz, that was the minhag. That's like the Gemara. There's a Gemara like that. The Gemara says also you wait 24 hours. Chachamei Ashkenaz would have steak, wash their mouth out, and have coffee with milk. If somebody would do that today, you would tell them, "Oh, you don't keep kosher." Well, that's one of the old halachic opinions of Ashkenazim. Says the Rama, but that's not the minhag anymore. The prevalent minhag of Dinot Elu in these countries is to wait 1 hour. 1 hour. And the medagdekim, those who are extra stringent in halakha, they keep 6 hours like Maran. And there, I think it's the Shaar, he quotes one of the Chachamim, saying, one of the Chachamei Ashkenaz, "B'chol mi sheyesh bo'oreach Torah," even anyone who even smells a little bit like Torah should wait 6 hours. That's what he writes there. But uvda, the custom in Ashkenaz was to wash their mouth out. Later it became very strict, 1 hour, and only recently did 6 hours become a thing in the Ashkenazi community. 3 hours is not mentioned in halakhic literature, that people would have minhag, but it's not explicitly mentioned in Shulchan Aruch or the Rama. That brings us to the next halakha there. Maran writes in the next halakha, Siv Bet, Maran says, what about tafshir shel basar? What about the potato from the chamin? Can you eat cheese? Can you sprinkle cheese on top of the potato from the chamin? No, you can't do that. You can't do that. This potato is bisari, but not really. Is it meat? No. It's called a tafshil shel basar. It's a thing that was cooked with meat, which means you cannot eat it with dairy. But says Maran, right after you eat it, you can have dairy.
Right.
But you have the taste of the meat.
Yeah, Maran agrees. The taste, the fat, it's okay. It's only halfway meat. You have to remember the Chachamei Ashkenaz agree that even if it was real meat, you don't have to wait at all. So this opinion is not so crazy. I mean, we're only strict 6 hours by actual meat. But by potatoes, why would you also add that stringency here? The Rama says, I don't know what to do with this. There's fat on the potatoes. It's meat to me. And the fat on the potatoes is meat. And therefore we wait 6 hours. Says the Chida, no Sfaradim in the world follow Maran. But we do. In our Beit HaMidrash, we do. You have chicken soup. You eat the vegetables from the chicken soup. You don't eat the chicken. Well, you have to be not an idiot. There can't be a little piece of chicken floating on your vegetable. You can have afterwards. You want to be strict, you can wash your mouth out. You can have afterwards dairy. And for those of you who think that you're so holy that you wait 6 hours after your potatoes, I would love to make for you a list of halachot that you don't keep. So it's nice that you have a minhag that you don't eat after this. Geez, good for you. You're not even getting extra credit in Shamayim for it. Maran rules is not a problem. What's the big deal? But the halachot, I know the halachot. Remember the halachot we read the other week of things that you actually have to do, mikar adin, about the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash? Who does that? So why are you looking, say, oh, but that's such a lenient opinion. I know what you're thinking. The same person who keeps Chalav Yisrael cheats on his taxes. And looks at us like we're criminals. It's the nature of halakha. The people who are machmirim, normally they're real halachot that they lose out on. Even if sometimes that's a result of their chumrah, is they look down at other people, they speak lashon hara about other people, they say bad about other people. So was it really worth the stringency that you took on yourself in halakha? What would be so bad if after 120 years you say, you know, Hashem, I'm so sorry. I only kept the halakha the way that the Mishnah and the Talmud and the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch said. I apologize. I didn't know about the other stuff that was made up somewhere. What would happen? Would you think you're going to go to Gehenna for this? It can't be. It can't be. When it comes to the things here in the 3 weeks, the important thing to know, every community, Ashkenazim, Sephardim, Timanim, Hasidim, every community is mourning the Beit HaMikdash. Every single one of them. There's no Jewish community that's not mourning the Beit HaMikdash. And the Jewish community, Baruch Hashem, throughout the ages, they have Chachamim, and those Chachamim decided for them, what does it mean in this community to mourn the Beit HaMikdash? And that's okay. Is there a right or wrong way to mourn? These are not halachot, these are all minhagim. So if the Ashkenazi community chooses to mourn like this, that's their right. If the Sephardic community chooses to mourn like this, that's their right. Who's right and who's wrong? Whose mother is better, yours or mine?
Yours.
It's not. This is not a halacha. This is not a halacha. Here it's a minhag. Every community mourns. The beautiful thing here is that the communities care so much about the Beit HaMikdash. They've changed their life. We change everything in these time, in these 3 weeks, in these 9 days. That's what we're focusing on, to rebuild the Beit HaMikdash. How much meat, how much potatoes, Malaveh Malka. Next we're going to talk about, what about the leftover meat from Shabbat? You're going to throw it in the garbage?
Sure, why not?
You don't have a fridge. No, you have a fridge, but you don't have a fridge. What do you do with that food? Can you eat from Malaveh Malka the meat that's left over from Shabbat? What about the potatoes and Jack's Chamin? Can he eat those potatoes on Motzei Shabbat? God willing, next year we're going to talk about that. Thank you very much. I'm going to do a hashkava just for a second. העמכם הכל בדע ויחוס ויחמול בכם הנפש ראש ראש נפטר בשם טוב מהעולם טוב יהיה בן אהרון צבי רוח אדוני תנחם בגן מהור ומלא תושבים ובכלל לכם הסליחות וכן יהי רצון ולמען אמן.